Hi folks, author Juli D. Revezzo here. I was talking to some other book talkers and the question came up of, do I have any signed copies? Why, yes I do. This stack here is just a small portion of signed books that I own. I'm going to cut to the B-roll and I'll show you some of the others. This one by J.V. Jones was an ARC copy. Little story about her. We had a time period where we were emailing back and forth. So when Christmas came along, she offered to send Christmas cards and I asked for one. This next one is from fantasy author Melanie Ron. Blood Brothers, The Hollows, and Pagan Stone were all signed when my mother bought copies of them from Nora Roberts' bookstore. The Burning of Her Sin was signed by my friend Patty G. Henderson. Lisa Sheeran sent a signed card. This Kurt Vonnegut book is one that my husband found at a local bookstore. The Terry Gary Dead Girls Are Easy autographed copy was from the aforementioned writers group book signing. Diana Peterfreund signed her latest for me when I met her at a book signing in 2009, I believe it was. It was her then latest release. Joanne Rock sent me a copy of this book Under Wraps when it came out, and pleasantly I found that she'd signed it. She was also connected to the writers group I was in, so I've kept in touch with her over the years, and she sent me a couple of signed books. This next one was one that Kim Knight was giving away on a blog tour, and she picked me. This next one, Tame the Wild Wind, is by my friend Anna Small. She was also in my writers group. This was Alyssa Wilds, who was a friend of mine from the group, and Kathy Carmichael. She was kind of like my mentor in the group. This next book is one of my earliest ones, I think. This is from Jolene Daw, Treasures from the Deep, and she was one of the girls that I met on the Melanie Ron board back in 2000, and we've been friends ever since. So when her book came out, she got me a signed copy. Same thing with Luray. This next one, Burning Up, I won from Mel Jean Brooke during another blog giveaway. Rhapsody by Elizabeth Hayden was one I was reading when it came out in 2000, and she was offering signed book plates on her site. Now this one's probably our most prized possession. My husband's a big Arthur C. Clarke fan, and he wrote to him, and to our surprise, Mr. Clarke wrote back. These next ones are from my historical romance writer friend Suzanne G. Rogers, and also my signed Maggie Shane book, which I got when she came to the writers group I mentioned before. One is by mystery author Lisa Unger, signed as my little brother attended a karate class with her and they became friends. She also signed her earlier book under her maiden name. And last but not least, one by Ash Crafton, one by Tracy Madison, a signed copy of James Maxey's Dragonseed, and finally my most recent acquisition, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. I'd purchased this and a copy for my mother, and mine was running late, so when I called the university bookstore to inquire as to a delivery date, I mentioned that my birthday was forthcoming, and so Julia Quinn added a little birthday note inside it, which I thought was pretty cool. One night, I was in a Borders bookstore, and I was perusing the fantasy shelves, and I noticed that when I pulled down a copy of Terry Goodkind's Wizard's First Rule, that it had a sticker on it that said autographed by the author. So there was a employee that was stacking books on a shelf nearby, and I kind of approached her and said, "Oh, that's pretty cool. When did when was he in here? And she says, oh, he's over there right now, and pointed to the checkout desk. So I snatched some books off the shelf and timidly approached him with my husband in tow. And I told him that I was reading Wizard's First Rule and that I was enjoying it and that I was a writer trying to get my start in the business. And he kindly stopped and talked to me for about 15 minutes. He signed these little bookmarks, and he signed a couple of the books for me. So those were in my collection as well, and you see that they're whoppers, but I enjoyed them, and even more so because I had such a personal contact with the author. This next is not a book, but a signed record from my very favorite band in the whole world. And as you can see, everybody in the band signed the record cover. So, do you have any signed books in your collection? Tell us about it. Leave us a comment below. That's all for now. Bye.